this is very, very important, that go and interact with every single person in that school with the same kind of empathy you will have for maybe your own colleagues and someone who is superior to you.
Mhm. You're such a storyteller, Anurag. I'm sure we are absolutely mesmerized by whatever you're saying. And we absolutely resonate with what you're saying. So, even though we have a format, Anuja, Sulbha, and Dibojati, if you want to put in your thoughts, because there are two things that actually came forward, though this will take a little long, but I'm going to edit it. What are we, when we talk about literate, illiterate, right? What
Yeah,
is it that we are defining? So, that is
exactly.
something that came to my mind. And also, we talk about inclusion in IB. So, inclusion is also, this is another aspect of inclusion. So, this is very, very important and kind of, put my perspective in place, right? What do we mean by inclusion? We used to talk about inclusion when we talked about, differently abled or, something of that sort. But even cultural inclusion is so important. So,
Yeah.
Anuja, do you have anything, Debojyoti?
I was really resonating with the fact that when a child comes into a classroom, it is the story behind which plays up in the classroom behavior. And whether it is a rich school or a poor school or from
Yeah.
whichever strata, this is what happens, that a child's education comes only when we understand where he's coming from and what is he bringing to the school. And that's where empathy that you're talking about, Anurag, really plays an important role, and that partnership which needs to exist
Yeah.
between the teacher, the parent, and the child, so that we understand what the child actually is and how he can learn. That environment needs to be, conducive enough, if only we know enough.
Yeah.
And many of the conflicts would be resolved automatically, uh, or to larger extent, is what I feel.
Yeah.
That's a leveling ground.
Hmm. So, Anurag, first of all, I mean, very commendable that, you are taking the efforts to go and reach out to these people and, actually understand their problems. So let me start by congratulating you for taking that first step, because I know that, it's very easy to say that, okay, let's bring out reform, but who is going to do the work, right? Who is going to put in the legwork to do that? So you have started that, and I'm really glad that we are having this conversation today. I resonated on so many aspects with you because for a very long time I've worked in alternative education for 12 years. And also, 3 to 4 years of that time has been with rural children. And also, a part of it has been with tribal children. So I know that these problems do exist. And hence, that was one of the reasons why I was so keen to, move into alternative education, because I always felt that school systems, though they are brilliant and they're evolving and all of that, they are somehow limiting, our own thought processes, our own natural growth and curiosity. Because, in homeschooling community, we always say that, it takes a village to raise a child. It
Exactly.
doesn't take one individual. And that's how our kids have grown, right? It's like, everybody, he's learning from the environment. He's learning from the situations that they see around them, and not just classrooms, right? So, this is very interesting because we were thinking of taking this in a very different directions. But Anurag, I really want to understand that while we understand that these problems exist, and we also are very driven to make the changes, one of the things that is my personal observation, and I would like to share and understand your opinion, is what I noticed is for the 4 years when I was working with these rural children, there was a very closed mindset that was there. The resistance was from the students, the resistance was from the parents. I still distinctly remember it was 9 o'clock, and this parent with the child was in my home. And, we had this conversation till 1 in the night where I was trying to persuade the parent, saying that how your daughter has a business mind and she should not pick up, sciences because she's not an engineering material, and how the father was like adamant and kind of had the fear that नहीं 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 business करेगी तो डूब जाएगी. And it took me a while to understand where he's coming from. So later I understood that, his father had opened up a shop which led them to, poverty, and then they had to sell up their land because of things. The backstory was very interesting though. But I'm saying, when we know and when we can see, as educators, we see every child and we see through them and we understand what they are good at. How can we bring about this mindset change? Is something that really has been on my mind for a very long time. And the teachers are also closed. And I also observed that, the way to penetrate to the community is also through the school leader. If the principal is saying a certain thing, they are okay to listen to her. That was also one of the observations we had. So we went to the school principal and we told her that, look, ma'am, this is what we need to tell them, and we'll take a free career counseling thing for the kids. Let them just understand that beyond engineering and doctor and MPSC, UPSC exams,
Yeah.
there is a world out there which is far more good, and all your creative aspects can be done. So she allowed us to come and, speak to the children. And we had a good one full day of session. And, we had called different people from different platforms to come and talk to the children just to help them understand the professions. But that's it. The day was over and it's all a blank slate. And again, there the next day, the question the kids are asking me, ma'am, when are we starting NEET JEE preparation?